prefer working with acrylic mostly because it dries fast, and I try to layer with my work, so you know, oil takes forever to dry and delays the process. So acrylic, spray paint, aerosol is kind of fun but challenging too. And material wise, I try to paint on anything I can find: scrap wood, metal, drywall, wood panel, and then canvas when you know it's appropriate. So anything. And you know, recently I've been trying to do some street art outside, so painting on brick and cinder block and things like that. So it's always a new challenge, but yeah. Probably the people that I know the most. Like, you know, most of my work has been created by request of somebody I know, and it's somebody that they admire and that they love. So you know, I get inspired by the story that they tell me of why they like that person, or you know, why they're claimed to be their biggest fan. And from there, my portfolio has grown just from, you know, people I know, and then from learning about some of the people that I'm painting, it kind of, you know, sparks my interest, I guess, into some different people that every once in a while I, you know, just paint ones that come to my own mind or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, it's just my own interest too. Like, I've always had, since I was in high school, I had a strong interest in pop culture, especially historical pop culture. I bought a classic Marilyn Monroe white 7-year-itch dress picture when I was 16, and I knew who she was, but I didn't know anything about her. So I just started reading all these books about who Marilyn Monroe was, and you know, why 50 years later do I know who she is when she was dead before I was alive. And it just, you know, inspired me to learn about these people of success in pop culture and why their image and their face are so important all these years later. So Marilyn Monroe was a big influence, and from her story I learned about who Andy Warhol was and how he used, you know, imagery of people of fame and success to apply to his work. And that's, you know, how he got to where he is now, you know, why his name is so familiar today. So Andy Warhol for sure. Yeah, I don't know, it's just comes to me sometimes too, you know. It's never, sometimes it's not a premeditated thought, it's just you sit down and whatever happens, and sometimes you hate it, sometimes you love it. So I don't know. My aims in life, I don't know, I think just to always be working towards something that I'm passionate about. I think so many people think being happy is the #1 key to life, or being successful or rich, and I think if you can find something you're passionate about, everything else in your life can be incorporated into that, and the happiness and the success and the wealth comes from following your passion. So I don't know, it's been working for me so far. I didn't, you know, take any art school or anything. I just started painting because I was bored, and it's blowing my mind, you know, the people that are contacting me to paint for them and the stories that are behind some of the paintings that I'm creating. It's just crazy. So it's all because I, you know, started creating out of boredom and just started to love it and became very passionate about it. And a lot of the paintings have their own story of passion that's, you know, very moving to be able to give people some of the paintings that I have been able to. So recently I just did a piece of, it's a portrait of a bride and her dad, but her dad passed away before they got married, so he never got to walk her down the aisle. So her husband sent me a picture of them on their wedding day, and then the last picture of her dad before he passed, and you know, collaged them together to, you know, give him kind of a visual of him being there in spirit on that day. And you know, you can't buy stuff like that at Walmart or online or wherever you go, you know, so it's pretty cool to be able to do that just through my creativity and other people's, you know, ideas. So many things. It's so therapeutic that you're sitting there, you know, with your own thoughts for an extended period of time, that, you know, you think about life, you think about everything, that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question to answer because it really does influence like every part of my life. So now, you know, at one point it was just like a come home and something to do. Like I was never been a big TV watcher. I just don't have the attention span for it. So it's like I need something to do rather than whatever. You watch TV, force myself into that habit, and it just kind of grew from that, I guess. So it's forced me into healthier habits, I guess. Like creating something for people is probably a healthier habit than watching TV, but at the same time I'm painting people that are on TV, so I need those people that watch TV too to keep creating, but yeah. My favorite piece is probably my recent Marilyn Monroe piece. I've done a Marilyn every year that I've been painting, but the one I did this year, just because of the story that it unveiled, like unintentionally as I was creating it, it's a picture of her sitting in this classic Hollywood chair that says Marilyn Monroe across it. And there's a quote of hers that I think best tells kind of how she felt about her career, and it was, I never wanted to be Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn was like a veil that I wore over Norma Jean, because Hollywood was the one that created Marilyn Monroe, right? So it's her sitting in this chair calling herself Marilyn Monroe, but her face is, I don't know. But while I was painting it, her hand is kind of draping over where her name is, and I was painting her hand, and then I was going to stencil in the name behind the hand. And when I stepped back, just the way her hand was sitting made the A and the R in her name in Marilyn, and then in Monroe it made the M. So it was just crazy that her fingers, just the placement of where they were, ended up making part of the name in the chair. So that's probably why it would be my favorite. But every piece has like a little story behind it that, you know, makes you love it in a certain way. So it's hard to pick a favorite. Well, right now I just recently am starting a nonprofit organization of amateur artists, hoping to travel across Canada painting these different street art murals, mostly capturing sport entertainment history. So every day so far this year, that has been my to-do list, something, slowly checking that off. So that's a huge bucket list item for me to make that whole project slowly happen. There's 7 projects right now on my map, I guess, that I think need to happen. So that would be one, and I don't know, otherwise just keep traveling, like not to say anywhere specific, just make sure I keep going to new places every time. Don't become that person that vacations to the same place every year. Not really, no. I just paint, and I sing while I paint. That's like a hidden hobby, but no one gets to see that. Sort of. I unintentionally started collecting old suitcases just because I was moving so often that it made more sense to buy a suitcase than a box to pack my things in, and it comes in handy. I pack my paintings in those often, to the smaller ones, to go to different art shows and things. Frames, I have a rotation of frame collection going through my place constantly, old frames, so those 2 things for sure. I tend to have a lot of scarves. I don't know why, but people seem to think I like scarves and keep gifting them to me, so I have a collection of those. I do like scarves, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that would be, I don't know, no, nothing specific that I seek out to collect anyways. Oh, a lot of things. All my guilty pleasures. I don't know, just, you know, finding the things that make you happy, you know, things like painting and creating things for people. People make me happy, you know, majority people, should say. The people that I get to work with anyways through my painting, that, you know, to be a part of some of the stories that I have been through my work is, yeah, makes me pretty happy. I have absolutely no idea. I do like to plan into my future, but only steps at a time, and 5 years is far too long for me to even think about right now. In 1 year, I hope to be painting murals across Canada. In 2 years, I hope to still be doing that. 3 years, I have no idea. That's as far as I've got.
So far.
The first time I painted Marilyn Monroe, I was painting I was living out on this acreage outside of Kearse, Saskatchewan. And it's just this beautiful backyard, and it was a sunny, hot day, and I was drinking coffee and Baileys, had my tunes going, and at this point I told myself I wasn't going to paint Marilyn Monroe because most of the portraits I had viewed of her didn't really do her justice, so I kind of was steering away from doing a picture of her. And so I was tackling that while I was out in this yard, and I just remember like sitting up there for hours, and next thing I know I had a sunburn, and I looked back and I was like, holy crap, I got some Marilyn Monroe. I just like, yeah, I was lost in the whole process, and you know, was pretty taken back that I credited myself that it looked like her enough that you know, I was proud of it. So the moment I found myself, again, it's probably like through painting. You know, I never really had any specific idea of what I wanted to do with my life. I was just, you know, doing my thing. I was gonna be a teacher, and I worked for the government, and you know, had all these kind of different odd jobs and things I was involved in, but never really had a specific drive, and started painting and been doing it for 4 years now, I guess, and now it's become transitioned from a hobby for sure to a job. So I guess I would say I found myself through that. I still have a hard time calling myself an artist a little bit because, you know, I didn't really come in with that intention, but yeah.
My mind still.
Something I fear. Well, I used to be pretty afraid of heights, but I've kind of slowly been overcoming that, but it still, you know, gives me butterflies. But other than that, I don't know. Pretty fearless, I guess. Oh, my friends and family, for sure. My dad has been a big part of my work. We frame a lot of my work together, and it's just been a whole trial and error of, you know, what saw and what tools to kind of use in a lot of the products that I'm working on. My mom and my grandparents too, they've all had these creative sides of them that have slowly unveiled themselves to me as I've started to be creative, and I never knew. You know, I have this clay figurine at my house that I found that my mom made and painted when she was, I think it was in the 70s. But yeah, I'm like, you made this? Like, I didn't even know you could draw anything. So yeah, these little things for my family, yeah. Not having to go to a day job. I'm pretty fortunate for that right now. It's been just about a year, I guess, since I've kind of took on the life as a self-employed artist. So yeah, I wake up looking forward to, you know, my work that day is whatever I choose to create, pretty much. So I've been saying this to people a lot lately, that I haven't hated a Monday in months because I'm loving what I do. I think most people probably hate Mondays because they hate their jobs. So yeah, that's what I look forward to. Just waking up and seeing what happens. Hi, my name is Carly Jaye, and thank you for watching the Boheme Graces with me.
But I want you to go.